So, in the last episode, we saw that the priest has just thought of a daring and devious plan to save his daughter. I'm going to tell you about this plan. The priest realized that there was only one person who could save his daughter from Kali, just one, and that was Shiva himself. So, what if he could convince Shiva to marry his daughter? You see what I mean about daring and devious? I mean, if the goddess ever found out, do you know what she would do to him? But now was not the time to worry about Kali's anger. If the priest managed to carry out this plan, the goddess could be as angry as she wanted. She would not be able to touch his daughter, and that was all that the priest was thinking about. So once again, the priest goes about setting the scene, back to the worship, back to the prayers, so that this time he can request an audience with the great god Shiva. Now, to cut a very long story short, the priest manages to meet with the great god, and he also manages to convince him to accept his daughter as a bride. But time is of the essence. He needs to do this as soon as possible. So he fixes the wedding for the very next day. But here is the main problem. As soon as it is dark, Kali will arrive at the temple with the night tide. So he needs to get Shiva to the temple before dark. But Shiva does his own meditations at dusk, which means he can only come after that, which is cutting it really, really fine. But the priest doesn't really have a choice, so he makes his plans very carefully. He will make sure that everything is ready and waiting. The girl, the wedding feast, the marriage garland, everything. So that as soon as Shiva arrives, there is no delay and the ceremony can be performed immediately with not a minute to be lost. Now, the priest had wanted to meet with Shiva somewhere far away from the temple because when he had made this plan, he didn't want the goddess to overhear this conversation. Unfortunately, however, Kali overhears everything. I cannot even begin to describe her fury. Not only was the priest going back on his bargain, but he was going to try and steal the love of her husband for another woman, a husband that it had taken her 100,000 years to win. She is furious. She is going to kill him. She is going to kill them all, every last one of them, in as cruel and bloody a way as possible. This time, there were going to be no bargains, no conversations, no mercy. Just death.